Welcome to Liza's Painting Parties. I am Liza, and it is our regular weekly live free event that we are doing today. Thank you for everyone to be willing to change it one day later. Normally I schedule it on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and this week we changed it up a little bit to try it out on Thursday at 6 p.m. Excuse me. So hopefully more of you can join us and this works out nicely for you and for me as well. So we'll see how this goes, and then maybe we'll make some changes coming up to the schedule. I'll be posting my April schedule this weekend, so of the dates for all the free paint parties that I'll be hosting throughout the month, and what the images will be for each week as well. So that will come out on the weekend. The other thing that I launched last week was that I'm doing a giveaway. So there is a post on my Facebook page. So if you go to the main page, you'll see a post that was put up on Sunday, and it very clearly says giveaway. And what I'm doing is if you like and comment and tag a friend of yours in that post, then you'll be entered. You'll get one ballot towards a draw that you can win a free painting party, like a virtual painting party that I'll host for you and 10 of your friends. So if that's something that sounds fun and interesting to you, please feel free to do that and share this with other people. It'd be nice to grow the community a bit. It's also, I'm actually celebrating, actually today, technically, is 2 years since I've started Liza's Painting Parties. So I'm very happy. So thank you all for joining me tonight. It's really exciting. And at the end of April, it will be 100 paint parties. So we'll be doing like the 100th paint party. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing for that particular event. I kind of want to make it like a special day. I'm not sure, but if you have any ideas, feel free to like let me know if there's something specific we should paint together. Someone had mentioned maybe we could do like a collaborative one where maybe on the live you'll like give suggestions and tips, and then we'll like incorporate it as we go. That seems really scary to me. I'd like a little bit more control than that, but I do think maybe we can incorporate a bit of like the controlness, but then still have some creativity that everyone can like jump in on. So a couple ideas like that. So perfect. So that's kind of what's going on. So thank you all for joining me, and we'll get started in just a few moments. So Facebook also lovely decided to like change up like the whole profile. So when I started and got this set up at 10 minutes ago, totally had like a little mini heart attack because the like go live now button didn't show up, and it like freaked me out. And so it seems like everything's good to go. So I'm happy about that. It looks like I can see comments decently on this dashboard. So I'll keep an eye as we go through. If you have any questions, just pop them in there. Again, I may not get to them right off the hop. It's just me doing it. If someone else would like to answer, if they have a suggestion or tip, please feel free to do so. This is kind of like, obviously I'm here to give you direction and to help you paint this along with me, but I am not the only, I'm not even an expert, I don't even say. I just love painting and I love sharing my process, and a lot of people enjoy that, so I like to do that. But there are a lot of people who know much better than I do, and other people have their own tips and tricks. So if you have your own way of doing something or want to share a process or tip, pop it in there. I looked at this more like almost like a book club. So we're all like reading the same book. We're all going to be redoing this painting together, but we have our own interpretations of how we want to express that. And so that's the flow of it. So anyone who hasn't joined, that's kind of how I go through it. And I just explained to you how I'll be processing it. I try to stick to the original image, but I do make it more painterly. So I don't try to make it like very hyper realistic. That's not my groove. So I may decide to put like purple in the sky today or something random. So I like to do those types of things. So I would suggest just you can watch along, see if you like the way it looks. If you don't, it's totally cool. The other thing I ask too, this is totally free, so you're all good to go. But I want you to take a picture of what you paint with me and share it, because it's really fun to see everyone's paintings in the community. And that's another component that I think everyone really enjoys because everyone has their own style. So please do that. That's my only, like, that's the payment required. You gotta show me your painting. If you did want to leave me a tip, there's a link there too, and obviously I appreciate it, but it's not required. And that's my spiel. Oh, and then if you wanted me to do any of your own personal painting parties, if you don't end up winning the giveaway draw, you can reach out to me and then we can talk about what that looks like if you want to do your own party that way. All right, so we're gonna get started in just a moment. Oh my goodness, there's like a lot of you watching today, and it's just freaked me out a little bit when I saw how many. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so let me just say hi and see everyone. Everything's normal. It's my normal 10 people watching. It's cool. All right. Hi, Cindy and Wendy. Oh my goodness. Hi, George. Oh, I'm glad you love to paint. Fantastic. And we have Jana. Hello. And Tracy. Hi, Tracy. Some names I see. David, I'm glad you're joining again. Fantastic. And Meg. Hi, Doreen. Oh, I'm so glad you're joining today too. Oh my gosh, there's so many I can't keep up today. Well, I'm so happy. Thank you all. I'm here in Ajax, Ontario, so I've seen a few Canadians, fellow Canadians. Hello, my friends. And I know there's people who tune in from all over the States and anywhere else, so feel free to like let me know where you're tuning in from. It's always fun when someone like in Australia tunes in and they're like, it's the morning. It's like, okay. I know that's obvious, but it just makes me smile. Anyways, so without further ado, let me run through what supplies we'll need for today. Oh, before I start too, if you tune in and you just can't paint right now, that's totally fine. This would be available under the videos tab on my Facebook page and also on my YouTube channel. I just literally take this video and cross-post it. No fancy editing. But you can watch it at your convenience and it'll be up. And all my other paint parties are up on those spots too, so you can feel free to do that as well. Okay, let's not drop the iPad. I mean, there's no paint right now, so if it was going to drop, it wouldn't be as bad. So the painting that we're doing today is our interpretation of this photo. So this photo is by Michael Lyons. He's a photographer based out of Burlington, Ontario. It's michaellyonsphotography.com if you're interested in seeing his other work. And he graciously allows me to paint from all of his gorgeous, gorgeous painting photos. So it makes me very happy to be able to partner with him. I've known him for a long time, and I love his pictures, so then we're able to have lots of fun with it. So what I suggest is I will have, and I'll move the camera so you can see this photo while I paint. However, it may not be as clear to you, so you may want to grab, if you want to grab a screenshot, it's going to be bad because it's a nice reflection of my ring light. But you can grab a screenshot if you like right now. So I'll hold it for like a couple more seconds. Or you can go to the post from this morning, and you can get the image from there. So you can just copy it or like save it so you have access and you can use it as a visual right beside you. Again, I'm a little bit of a control freak, so that works better for me. Instead of trying to see it on a screen, you can see the details better and whatnot. So for supplies, all you need, I work with acrylic paint. Acrylic paint is water-based. If it dries, it's permanent. There are ways to get rid of it, but it's no fun. Please note the white mark on my pants right now, so like it'll stay there. So just keep that in mind. Wear something that you don't care about getting dirty. The paint colors that I suggest having are the primary colors, your red, blue, yellow, and black and white. If you have those 5 colors, we can mix them and we can make anything you want. If you end up having other paints, other colors, other varieties available, absolutely dip in and do it how you want. Again, when I talk about how I want to do it, I'll go through what I like, but then you can just change up. If you want the sky to be like a sunset rainbow, make it that way. Do what you want, okay? The paint I use a variety. I primarily started using the Crafters acrylic, which dries with a matte finish, and it's from like the Dollarama, so it's like $1 each. The quality is actually quite thick, so it's kind of great at times because it can be more opaque, which is what I try to get. And I've also been using this one called Artist's Loft, and I got this one from Michael's, and this dries with like a shiny finish. So this is really great. I kind of like to go back and forth. The shiny finish just makes my paintings look like fancier. So if you want to feel more professional, grab something that has a bit of a shine to it, make you feel a little fancy. So we got our paints. For my canvas, I use canvas boards. This is an 11 by 14. I do prefer to use actual stretched canvas. So if you have stretched canvas, go for it. This is more just for my storage purposes. It just works better, but I definitely prefer stretched canvas. There's definitely a quality issue there, but I'm okay with the board too. I have a very dirty palette that I use just to put my paint on. I do a lot of my mixing on my canvas itself. You need to have water available. So I have 2 containers of water and I have paper towel. And then I suggest have a variety of brushes, but at least have 3 size differences. So if you have, so I'm using again 11 by 14. So I would suggest a large, a medium, and a fine. This large brush I have is a flat, kind of rounded one. This one's a size 12. This one's a flat, starting to get splay, but it's okay. This is a number 2 for my medium size. And this is a fine point that has kind of like a pencil grip, so that kind of helps out. And it doesn't look very fine right now, but when there's water, it does. And it's a size 4, and I like it because it becomes pretty thin, and it gives me a nice control over getting the details. But it also holds a lot more paint than the really, really small ones. The small ones don't hold as much paint, so I like that about it. So those are the brushes that I use primarily. But again, if you're using a larger canvas or smaller, you're gonna have to change it up with whatever is better for you. Cool. I think I went through all my supplies. Let me make sure everyone's good to go. Oh, thanks for being my cheerleader, Doreen. You're the best. There is a white circle. Yes, the white circle is for my ring light, trying to give me a little bit of like brightness, and as soon as I move it, it should be okay. Sorry about that, David. Perfect. Oh, I'm from Cuba. That's so cool. From Australia. There you are. You've worked. Yeah. Okay. All right. Perfect. I'd like to be able to like make this comment section bigger. Like I don't care about all the other stuff that Facebook has on there. Anyways, okay, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna move this. I need to like watch how I do this to make sure you can see what you need to see. I'm gonna move this here. No, that's from another. There are other paintings we have done. Okay, let's see if I can do that. You gonna stay? No, you're gonna go flat. Okay, is that how it's going to be? Yes. All right. Nope, this way a little bit. Okay, so I think we're gonna do this setup. Dun, da, da, da. Oh, and make sure you have some water or something. I mean, I know I'm talking, so I'm definitely gonna need it. But and I always have a lid on it, so I don't put my paintbrush in there. All right. Oh my goodness. Hi everyone. Oh, there's a lot. I feel like there's more Canadians today. Maybe all you Canadians aren't available on Wednesdays. Thursday's a better day for all of you. Okay. So when I start with painting, an acrylic painting, I always start with whoever's furthest back, and I layer as I go closer and closer to the foreground. This painting, this photo, I think is really cool. And it was a little scary when I picked it, I'm not gonna lie, because it is quite dark, but it has some really neat, it kind of looks mysterious, and I like the hardness and like the softness about it. So I'm gonna start with the background here with the sky, and what I'm gonna use is, I'm definitely going to keep it blue. I am going to put purple in it, and I might get a little gray too, I'm not sure, but I am gonna play a little bit with color in it. So it's not going to be exactly like this. I want it to have, again, a bit more painterly kind of feel and color and expression in it. So I'm going to do that. When I look at a painting, when I start, what I do first is I try to position on my canvas where things are going to land. For some of you, it might be helpful to use a pencil just to like draw it, like this is where my horizon is, if that works. I don't tend to do that. I kind of just like go with it. But if I look here, the sky's going to come down a little bit lower than halfway on my canvas. So when I paint the sky, I'm going to make sure I bring the sky a little bit lower than halfway down. And of course, it's not exact science. Like, it's obviously stops a lot higher up, but I want to make sure that after, when I paint the trees, I'm going to be able to see little like pockets of that sky coming out in whatever color variation I have. So just keep that in mind. So I still do it that way. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to bring my sky down about like a little bit more than halfway down. So let's get some blue going. So I'm going to use this blue. This one's the shiny blue, the Flow Acrylic. Oh my gosh, right away, I just get like a ton on my finger. And that's why paper towel is handy to have. Okay, so I'm using, I'm just dropping stuff today, a big globberoonie of that blue. And then I want white. White is my friend. Wow, everything is just like exploding on me today. All right, crazy craziness. Okay, so I just put another glob of white on there. Okay, I am going to put a dab of black because I think I'm going to use the matte finish black. Just because all my shiny ones sprayed all over my hand. I'm not angry at it right now. No, just because it is kind of because of that. Not going to lie. Okay. And yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. And in terms of black, I just put like way little in comparison with the other ones. Black, you never need that much at all when you're using it. Awesome. Oh, nice. Amish country. I'm going to have to, like, after I do this live, I'm going to have to, like, go back and read where all y'all are from. That's so cool. I love it. Okay, so when I paint my sky, oh, and I want some red because I did want to do some purple. My bad. Oh, yeah. I want to play with that a bit. Okay. I almost forgot. When I do my sky, I'm going to paint quickly. I would encourage you to do the same, and not to overthink it and just to have fun with it. When I paint, I want it to make sure it mixes so it gets a nice blend happening. So I'm going to start off with white, and I'm going to get my big brush and I'm going to put a big glob on it. I'm going to paint quickly because the paint can dry pretty fast. But the first step is I'm just going to get some white paint, like globs of white paint just on my canvas. Start with that. It's going to be lighter down closer to the horizon, like we see a little bit of a glow like around the tree, so I definitely want it to be lighter there. I'm just going to pop this white paint. It's not covering everything, there's still like canvas, but that's fine. Now I'm going to grab a big glob of my blue and I'm going to go like this and put like drops of it everywhere. Okay, and then now I'm just going to start to go back and forth just to get a nice blue background. And because I put the white in, there's already going to be a slight variation in the color. And I am going to make it darker than this, but I wanted to start it a little bit lighter. I got some more white and I'm just going to add some more. Instead of putting my brush in water to clean it, now I have a lot of blue on my brush. So I'm just going to actually use my paper towel to wipe it off instead of using the water. I find it's just easier when you put water on or on the actual brush, it carries it over to your painting. And then I feel like it kind of messes with your paint texture. So I find it's better to just wipe it off if you're going to be using the same brush. And as long as the color doesn't mix in and become weird. Like if you were going to use like a yellow, let's say, that might be a little bit strange because then it might all of a sudden turn green and you might not want that, right? But in this situation, this white, we're just going to get like a couple of gradients. And I'm doing it pretty quickly. I'm being very light on my brush because I want to get some movement in the sky. And I'm just thinking about like the clouds are kind of in different, I don't know, clouds. There's like just some like cloud cover. You can't really tell where they're at. So I'm just going to play with that as I put in a little bit darker. Let me get a drop of black, like a drop. And I'm just going to touch it a little bit in this corner. Maybe bring it in a little bit down this way, but it already is starting to get gray, which is good. Now let's just keep it a little darker in this corner. A little storm happening on this side. Okay. And the reason it's blending nicely is because everything's still very wet. And so I said very wet. That's a little misleading, I suppose, because it's not, we don't have like a ton of paint on it, but it's so hard. It's like you have the right amount of paint. Not such a bad direction. But it's enough so that it's nice and like a slick gloss across. It's not clumpy. So when I move across, I'm not like getting a clump. If you're doing that, you have too much paint. If you're going across and it like dissipates really fast and you can see the canvas, you don't have enough. So hopefully that is a helpful guide. Oh, thanks for responding, Diane. I appreciate it. Yeah, after we do this session, I'll take a picture of my painting, and then you can always post it as like a comment there. You don't have to, like, don't get stressed if it becomes like something that's like annoying for you to do. But I if you can, please do, because I love to see it. I'm just going back in now with a bit of a darker, like the blue, because I had some of that black in there, and I'm just swooping it along. I want it to have like a little bit of movement. The paint is already starting to dry a little bit, which is good. A little bit of dryness. So if when it starts to dry, that's when you can start to layer things on top a little bit easier, but then your blending stops at that point. So I just took a little bit of white just to blend it in. White is my friend. Like, I really enjoy white to blend up into the sky. Because every time you take the color and you blend it into the darker space, it picks up that darker color on your brush. So if you want to keep it light, you have to kind of keep going back and grabbing a little bit more white, or you then would clean it off on your paper towel, grab your white, and now you again have a lighter instead of it always bleeding down and getting just, you know, dark blue all the way down. Okay. I'm enjoying that. I think it's looking really pretty. I think I want to put a little bit of dark, a little bit here. I'm just got a little bit of black, so I'm just dabbing it a little bit, and maybe like here, like a little line of black. It won't stay like that. I'm just dabbing it, but then I'm going to clean my brush. Paper towel. I haven't used water once on my brush yet, just to be clear. And now I'm going to go back and get blue, and now I'm going to go just under the black, and then I'm going to grab the black with the tip of my brush as I go. There we go. Just make it a little darker up here to keep this sweepy motion. The reason why I went with blue is because then it stays kind of like darker. If I had picked up the white, it would have been lighter, and it would have just made, it wouldn't have made sense in this particular spot here, at least what I think. Okay, that's so pretty. Right, you know, I haven't put my purple in yet. Let's do that. Let's play with that. So everything's still, again, pretty wet. I'm going to do the same kind of thing that I did with the black, where I'm going to get a little drop of red. Now, the thing with this is that if I go in the red where there's so much white, it's going to be pink. So I want to keep it in kind of this gray blue color. That's where I want these little drops of red. And I'm not going to keep them like that. I mean, if you like them like that, go for it. And then I'm going to get that blue again. And then now I'm just going to go over those spots, and it's going to have like a little touch of purple happening. We might need a little bit more red. It's already starting, which is nice. I always go lighter before you put too much, and then you're like, oh no, everything's purple. Again, unless you like want it to be purple, and that's totally fine. Purple's a lovely color. Just going back with like the blue, just to, now this is getting nice and dark in this corner, which I like. And I'm keeping it sweepy and light. And I think again, I want it to come a little bit here too. So I'm just gonna sweep some of that here. That one a little bit crazy, but that's okay. We'll just get some blue and dabs. Get some white and fix that in a moment. Okay. Oh no. Oh man, my clothes is going to be covered in paint by the end of this. I can feel it. It's one of those days. Last day of March. It's already, I guess it's already like the April Fool's vibe that's happening with my paint. That's how I'm feeling about that. Okay. So what do we think about that? Are we digging that? How's it going with you guys? Oh my goodness, it's almost midnight in the UK. That makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Sorry, I feel like I'm missing so many comments. I apologize. Please keep writing. I'm going to keep back and check. So I just took a look. Awesome. Okay, so maybe I'll hold it a little closer just so you can see a bit of, I don't know if that helps a bit. I feel like it's a little shiny and weird, but so you can see some of the colors and the way it's kind of looking. Okay. So that's how I wanted to interpret this like dark and stormy sky. I might want to still put a bit more on it. It's really up to you how you want to go. There are some nice like light spots that are happening, and I think they'd be kind of fun to play with. So let's try it. I'm going to get a little bit of white on my big old brush, which I, again, still haven't put in water. And I'm going to just put in a little bit of white like here. And again, it's not going to turn out white because my paint's still wet. So every time I put my brush in it, it ends up picking up the paint underneath it, right? So I'm just going to put in a little bit of this here for now. And I have a little bit coming here too. There's some more here. I'm just going to put this like this for now, and then I'm going to play with it a little bit. Oop, that's not the right paper towel I wanted. So I'm just taking off as much paint as I can. That brush. And then now, I still want to get a bit more white on there. No, I don't actually. My bad. No, I want it to be more clean. Okay. And now I just want to kind of touch it a bit. Just make this a little bit lighter. It's like weird, like lighter spots in the sky. I'm getting a little bit of blue just to touch up the ends there. I think that's very nice. I just want to make that a little lighter because it just got a little bit too light, a little bit too blue, sorry. Okay. What I'm doing, I'm just touching up because some of the lines just got a little bit harsh and I don't want them to be that harsh, which is why I'm going in very lightly just to soften some of the edges. It's still like more impactful if you see where the difference is, but yeah. Oh, thank you, David. Oh, Valerie's, I'm so glad. Hello. So nice to see names from a while. It's so great. What color is that blue? Good question. That blue is called Blue. By Artist's Loft. If that helps. Can you see it okay? Yeah, not very helpful. Kind of helpful. I mean, you can look up the name of it. It's called Flow Acrylic, Artist's Loft, and it's blue. It's literally called Blue. Pretty funny, eh? Awesome. So, nice. Very, very nice. Okay, so from here, I want to let it sit for a little bit. The next thing we're going to do after we do the sky is I want to pop in my trees. That's going to be the next thing that I'm going to do. And the way I want to do that is before I start popping in my trees, I have to think about where they live again. So we might want to think, you may want to use a pencil, or some people use chalk. I feel like is kind of weird. Someone had mentioned watercolor pencils. So I think that would be a really cool thing to use. So if you use like a watercolor pencil in like a color that, like maybe for example, if you had one that was like almost like a gray or something, then it would blend in pretty nicely with everything else that you're doing. I think that would be a cool thing. I don't know how it would really react with acrylic paint. I've never tried that, but with my big old brush at this point is now when I'm going to put it in the water and just like splash it around and try and get some of the paint that really made that brush work. And then I'll just leave it in there for now. So I don't think I'm going to go back to it. But yeah, so we can think about that. And I might just use a pencil just to mark where I want certain things, just to give you an idea. So when we do this, when we look here, this line, it's not exactly straight. It kind of goes on a slight angle from where those lights are here. Your point of, what is that called? Oh my god, the vanishing point. That's what it is. Art class is kicking back in. I think we should kind of put a bit of an X as to where we are envisioning where that vanishing point is. So if I look here at the horizon line, the middle of my canvas is about like here-ish. So that X point is going to be almost not middle, but like, let's just eyeball it. So if this is like the middle of my canvas, more or less, I want that vanishing point to be like here, I think. I'm just going to put like a little X there for my eyeball to think about. And then from that vanishing point, I'm going to bring, because the horizon goes a little bit down because the tree line is a little bit down, right? It's not like a perfectly straight line. It kind of comes down slightly, okay? And then same on that side. So there's obviously the horizon line, which will come straight across, but there's trees that are coming further down. So at this point, we can just eyeball it like and draw in this track line just to start giving that perspective. So this track line comes about halfway on your line, and then it starts to curve, and then when it comes down, it's going to come more than halfway here. So if we look at the bottom, let's think about where halfway is, right? And then we're gonna move it over just a smidge. And like that's where the end's going to be of this line here, right? So we want that curve to be about halfway, that point, and then it's gonna come. And I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. So it comes pretty straight across this line, then it starts to curve where that line is. And then this curve is only here, and then it comes down straight down to that point. Can you see that pencil line okay or no? Oh my gosh, it's like brutal. I feel like you can't see it at all. Light, maybe? Yeah, there, you can kind of see it. Hopefully the instruction helped. It is a big jar of blue, isn't it, Valerie's? It's huge. Yeah, I did an in-person painting party in October, and I thought, okay, my little bottles are not going to cut doing this big party, and that's why I ended up buying those big old jugs. Okay, so now let's think about the other track line. So the other track line, again, is like connected directly to that first line that we drew, but then it veers off. So if we look at to where it veers off at about like more than halfway. So maybe more like around here-ish. So when it starts to veer off. And then it curves and then it comes out. And where does that line go? It doesn't even touch the bottom. It actually, it's about just a little bit above on the side here. So that X line there, this line right there, that's going to end like here, more or less, right? So that's where we want that line to go. And it's pretty straight, consistent, and it only just comes around just the top. So again, it's going to be straight. It's going to curve, following the curve of the other one. I think I'm going to bring it in a little bit more. And this pencil, so you can always change up your line. You can start wherever you so desire. I think that's how I want that to live. And then we want to put in, there's another track happening over here, which is kind of crazy. It's actually a double track. It's weird looking. So that's going to come, let's see where that point is. So again, halfway down the canvas, you got this kind of like fence happening. So it's a little bit lower than halfway. And so we got the fence happening about halfway. I just eyeball it. Let's see, okay, so that fence is going to live around there somewhere. So that, that's not pencil. There you go. And then it's going to come down to about there, it looks. I think. That seems a little bit too high. I think I have to bring it down a bit more. Let's see, in relation to this line, it is actually kind of up there. Maybe this line. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to bring it a little bit lower, just about there, I think. And then again, so that's my vanishing point. Okay, we have another track that curves. And it comes. I am going a little lower, I think. There. And then it kind of parallels, only right, almost right above it. And this is almost the exact same. It's kind of in a weird angle, so you can't really see it. Okay, so that's just to give us an idea. And we're going to bring our green trees down to this line here, because we see green all the way down there. Okay, and we see green all the way down to this line here. Perfect. So now we have a guide, which is cool, and which is what we want. Perfection. Let's see where we're at. Okay, perfect. Everyone doing okay? Okay, let's play with some trees. So again, I want to get the vibe of these trees. I'm not going to try to be specific or perfect on how they are actually in this photo, right? If we want it to be exactly like the photo, you buy the photo, you enjoy it. Otherwise, we're painting, we're doing our own vibes. Few things to notice on here. We have a lot of really pretty color variations on the green. So you're seeing some like lighter, almost like yellowy greens, almost like a very light, I wouldn't say white green, but like, and then you have a medium shade, you have a bit of a darker one, and then you have some blacks and some darker shades happening in the like further distance there. Now, with my paints, I find when I put black on, it's really hard to paint on top for it to show through. So that becomes a bit of a struggle when we clearly have some really dark zones and then other things are popping in front of it, but we're gonna play with it a bit, okay? So what I would suggest is pick like a medium green that calls to you. I might either use the green that I have. So this green from Artist Loft is called Emerald Green. I might be using that one. However, I do like to just mix yellow and blue together. So I have a whole bunch of blue still on my palette from doing the sky. I definitely overshot on how much blue I needed. So I'm going to put a glob of yellow, and I just grabbed the Crafters Acrylic Bright Yellow. That's the one I grabbed. So no particular, I didn't pick it on purpose. It just was the one I grabbed. Okay. And that's how much yellow I've put on so far. Okay, so let's just do a little mixeroonie of these colors. Get a green, a middle of the road green that I want to play with. Okay, cool. Sorry, if I had another camera, it would look really cool. I could show you my mixing, but I do not, so you'll have to just trust me on how cool it looks. Okay, so it's kind of a blue-green, but that's fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick where I want to start. I want this to come a bit higher. I think on the original painting, it actually does, our picture, it comes up a little bit higher. And then we have some trees. So I'm just gonna start placing my trees, keeping in mind that I still want the sky to show up a little bit in different spots. So I'm just gonna start by dabbing my brush and just getting some green happening and thinking about that there's like a tree that's right here. If it helps, you may want to just put in kind of like a trunk line just to give you like a visual of where to go from it. I'm using my medium brush and I'm just kind of following some of the line patterns that I'm seeing, and I'm not stressing too much about it because we're going to be doing a few layers on here to get different values happening. I just want to get some of this green color on here first. We just want the feeling of it's like a bushy thing that's here. No, I'm gonna get like a smidgen of black. Oh, it's scary. As soon as you put like a little dot of black in it, it like turns your paint so dark. But I'm gonna go here and get that darker bush that's living back here. And then we have a little bit more here. And I'm just getting the interpretation of what I'm seeing. So I'm seeing there's some darker patches. And so that's what I'm doing. So I might get even a little bit more black, just get some even darker spots on here. Some nice shadows happening. And I'm just going to add a little bit of dark to some of the spots on the trees that we have. And I'm not going to worry too much about the really specific detail because you can always grab your detailed brush and put a little bit more in at that point. This is just to get some of the color vibes and the general shape. Okay. And I'm just going to put a little bit darker zone in here, separate that off. Okay, and I'm going to just go back to like a little bit lighter green, pop that in. And it's all like a play, like you just keep playing with it. Right now, if I look at it, it looks like a bunch of like blobs. So I'm like, don't think about that. Just keep blobbing it up. Okay. Being mindful, like looking to see like where some of the darker areas are. If it starts mixing too much again, grab your paper towel and like clean it off. Right now my brush has a lot of paint on it, so I'm just gonna remove some of that off. And I'm gonna go a little bit lighter I'm gonna add a bit more yellow. I need maybe a little bit of white, I think. I need it a little bit lighter. White's weird because I feel like white just washes out when you're doing leaves. Like it just looks almost dead-like. So I'm not a huge fan of white when you're doing greenery, but I just want it to have a little bit of yellow because we have some like lighter bushy things happening, little spots of color, and I want to put that in. Don't want to lose that. Okay, let's go back and get some darker green. It's actually even darker. It actually goes dark in this area a little bit more. So having these little globs of darkness, it just shows that there's many layers. So there's different shadows. It's not just like a big blob of green and that's it. I know it feels just like a lot of blobs, but the different color patches will make the eye understand that there's lots of different trees and shrubs and stuff happening in this background. So get your impressionist hat on and dab, dab, dab. Okay, I'm going to go back and get some more of that lighter color. Pop a little bit of that in here. Okay, I need to clean off my brush again. So there we go. Okay. Yes. All right. I like that. That is looking cool. Okay, I'm going to start bringing this like abstract tree masterpiece onto the side. So we're going to do a similar thing. I'm going to start with that medium greenish kind of color just to start building in some of the spots. I want this to come up higher. I want it to live higher. I need it to be darker, so let's put some black in here. A little bit more black. Okay. Come down like that, more or less. Okay, so down in this area, it's pretty dark, so I'm going to continue to get a little bit more black. And just add a little dabbies of it into my green just to get this a little darker. And then it gets a little dark. There's like a bit of a darker spot kind of here. There's a little bit of darker spot like here. More or less, a little bit there. Okay, so now let's grab that green Oh man, I went through that green fast. I'm just gonna mix a little bit more of my yellow and my blue together to get more green happening. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop it in a little bit here, a little bit more of that one here, a little bit more here. Okay, and let's get some yellow in there just to mix it up. Oh, that's a little too bright, but you know what? It's gonna mix into my green as I play with it, so that should be fine. There's a few little splotches of like that really bright happening. Okay, and don't forget to paint the side of your canvas. Okay, so I'm just gonna go even a bit lower than what we need so everything's nicely covered up. I want the background here. This is gonna be like a dark, it's like bush stuff happening back here. Can't really see it so far away. Okay, put a little bit more black into it. All right, good. Feeling like a bunch of trees. Cool. All right, so I think now I'm gonna retire my medium brush for a little bit so I can play with my finer brush, and I can add a little bit of more specific little branches sticking out and like little things happening all over the place. So that's my plan. So my thinner brush, I'm going to grab some green. I need to get a bit darker though for the background, it looks like. Okay, so I'm just going to go in and just put in a little details. Just so it looks a little bit more realistic. I guess I just left that sentence. I didn't finish that thought. Okay. Okay. And then I want to do the same with some of the other little bushes. Just add instead of, because what happens is when I use the same brush and I go quickly, I tend to almost use it as like a stamp. And then everywhere on my painting, it just looks too similar. Like it looks like I don't know, it doesn't look as real, and I want it to have a little bit more texture to it. So I'm just filling some of the gaps in that's lower, because lower in the painting, you wouldn't see the background because it's too dense. So I'm just going in and just touching some of those little areas. Okay, cool. tree here. Okay. And I might even go with black and do the same thing and just put a few little lines, like there's like little twiggy things that are happening in here. I know you can't really see it, but I think that might look. Okay. Putting a few in random spots. Okay. And like I said, you can do that if you want. Not, that was like, I just kind of decided to do that. So it's not in it. You can't really see them. You see like some of them actually in like almost like lighter colors. We could do that as well. That would be kind of good though. Yeah, maybe in a lighter color. It's kind of good too. Put a few little lines. Maybe on this side too. Okay, I think I'm good with that. That looks cool and dense and abstract. Ah, it almost looks like a smiley face on my napkin. That's random. Oh, thank you so much, Leslie. Oh, I'm glad you made it, Marla. That's fantastic. Sounds good, Lynn. Whenever you paint it, just share it with me. I'd love to see it. Okay, so cool. So now the one thing that no, it'll still work. So I want to put in this like kind of like fence thing going on. That's scaring me a little bit. Anytime something is really structured, it always freaks me out. I feel like I'm really comfortable doing like abstracty lines and feeling it, but when something looks like this and I want to make it look freaks me out. Okay, but we're gonna do it. Freaks me out. Even after me painting for so long with all of you live, but if I mess it up, then you shouldn't be afraid to try it. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna kind of get a really light white essentially, but I'm making it like a little gray. I kind of almost see like bluish tints in it. It's almost like a really light bluey gray. I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. It's actually more white than anything else, really. I just want to be special, make it a little different. Okay, so when I look at this, it is a pretty straight line across, but there's little indents in it, and we have a bunch of greenery kind of sticking out all over the place, and it gets smaller as it comes back here. So I think I'm going to start off with it being back here and being like almost like you can't like see it, and it's like behind some of these. And just like come out a little bit more. Oh man. I feel like it's too straight and low. How about that? That could be the bottom line, I suppose. Yeah. Because then it gets a little thicker as it comes more in the foreground. That's okay. Okay, so I think that's going to be my lower line. So this one comes out kind of like that. Oh my. Trying to do a little curves. It kind of curves weirdly. Just like okay. It gets smaller and smaller as it goes into the background. So these lines, ooh, that's a little thick. And they're further apart out here. They're a little closer together down there. So I don't know if I want to keep it like that, if I want to. Oh, looks like that's being thicker. Okay. And then I'm going to get a little bit of the green just to hide some of the ends. Okay. To feel a little bit more like that. Okay. Some of the lines are a little closer, so I'm going to do that to some. Okay. I think it looks a little weird on this guy here. So I'm just going to touch here as well. Okay, I think that looks all right. It's like peeking through. Is there a fence on the other side? No, there is not. Okay, that's cool. All right. So, now with this fence, you can try to have more of a highlight and a low light. I'm gonna make this a little, just put a little bit of black on some of the lines at the bottom. Just like a little touch, because I think it will make it pop like a little bit. And I'm not doing it on all, I'm just, maybe I am doing it on all, but like the brush isn't like making a straight line on it. That's kind of what I mean to say. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on one side of the little poles that are connecting it. We'll go on the other side. Whatever, it's fine. Okay, kind of looks cool. Okay, I'm going to get some green, and I'm just going to smear some. Make it look like that something else is kind of growing on top of this guy. Like that. A little bush just came out of nowhere. Okay. that one. This one's a little darker. Okay. Again, the more layers that you do, the more realistic it will look. It will look more like you're putting that fence behind some more of these shrubs and stuff that are growing all over the place. So I'm just going back with like the green, just making like little lines, some more than the other. Sometimes it's just like sticking out a weird spot. So that's what I have. I think I'm happy with that. Still got more to do. We have a very interesting gravelly ground to play with. So that should be good to do. All right. Okay. So now what are we going to do next? So I think the next step we're going to do is I want to start putting in the ground, the gravel that's happening there. And we're going to approach it in a similar way that I did the trees. So it's going to be very abstract. We're going to just look more like at the colors and the textures of it. So the color matches the sky a little bit. So it has kind of like this bluey gray vibe with black in it. And there's also like little hints. I would say there's like little like brown or like goldeny hints. So we're going to play that up as well. Let me just take a look and see if anyone needs any help. Oh my, I missed a few comments. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Large paint stick for support doing lines. That's a really good tip, David. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yes, the video will be available later, so you'll be able to watch this on my YouTube channel. It'll be the same video, just cross-posted, or on my Facebook page under the videos tab. So you can absolutely do that. Okay, so I'm going to, I think, go back to my like medium-sized brush, which has been just chilling in a little water bath for a little bit. So I'm just going to take it out and get all the water out of the brush as possible. It's okay if it's still like, if it's still a little dirty with the green, it's not going to be a big deal because we're going to be using this anyways. So I want to get a gravel type of look and feel to this. And we're going to layer it, and then we're going to use like our fine detail to get more of the small little bits because it won't show up right off the hop. So I think I want to mix, no, how do I want to do this? Let me think. Okay, yeah, we're going to get a drop of black into my white to get a very light gray going. And then I'm going to start popping this on. So I have my line of where that hard rail is, and then all the gravel is going to be in this area. So I'm just going to start, it's a little darker than I wanted it. I'm just going to start popping this paint in, and I'm going to just put it in a few spots. So like I said, it's not, I wanted it a little lighter than that. So I'm going to grab more white on my brush and then bring it in to this gravel zone. It's a little light, and then it has little smidgens of other things happening. Right now I just want to kind of get the color variation changes happening here. So I want it to be a little bit lighter on the top, and then it coming down into it being a little darker. I don't want to make it super smooth looking. I still want it to be a little messy. So down here is going to be darker, so I'm just going to pop in a little bit of this. Okay. Now grab some more of my gray and let's pop it in here. I feel like I need a little bit of blue, so I'm just gonna drop it in to mix it all in with this crazy melange. So I'm just keeping it messy. And then we're gonna layer on top. We're gonna put in some detail with a different brush. I mean, it'd be kind of cool if you have like a stamp or something that's a little messy, maybe even like foil, like aluminum foil. That could create a really cool look. Okay, so now that I have all this paint going on, and I have a bit of a color variation that I'm digging, I'm still putting a little bit more black because I feel like I want it a little darker down here. And I think I want it, there's like a little bit of black kind of across the top, even though it's still pretty light. And then it's a little dark in like the middle there. There's a little bit there too. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this brush. I'm going to clean off all the paint on it. Predominantly, like if there's still some on, it's okay, because we're going to mess it up with more paint. And then I'm going to use it, and I'm going to go through, and I'm going to dab to start getting a bit of a texture of like the gravel vibe. So again, I'm going pretty quickly because the paint's going to dry very fast. So I'm not thinking a heck of a lot when I'm doing this. I'm just going with my feeling and playing with it and just having fun. Okay, so now it just has a bit like, just feels a little messy, and it has still good color variation, and I'm digging that. And I'm just watching it to make sure it's not like super stamp-like, even though I'm literally just like stamping it around. I'm just gonna wash that off a bit. Okay, and I think I want to go back to my thin brush, my more fine point, and I'm just gonna go in and put in a few little, like a little like dots. They're really like small and fine, you can't really notice them far away, and I'm just gonna kind of touch it little bits with like little dots and like white just in the background. Well, it does come down a bit. I'm noticing that there's a little bit of white that kind of comes down a little bit. So they're very small little kisses of your paintbrush. Not in a line, kind of random. And then as it comes up to the front, they can get a little bigger, a little bit more. Put some more down here. I don't know if I'm gonna try to put like a bunch. I'm just gonna put like little smatterings of it just to get the idea of the texture happening. I think that might be enough, like just to put like a little bit. We don't know we're going like crazy. At the same time, it's kind of fun. It's a little like meditative almost, just to dot the brush around. So use your own judgment how you want to approach it. I'm getting a little bit of blue too. I kind of want some bluish to pop up in this area. But I'm just going to put little bits as well. Maybe like little baby dotties. Okay, and then I'm going to go with black and do the same thing with black in like the darker areas predominantly. And back here more sparse. And I want to put a few kind of along this line. Okay, there's a little bit of something happening here, I don't know. Okay, now we have a little bit of darker area in this spot. Okay, kind of weird, lots of little dots. I think that's working out good. Oh, thanks for answering, Laura, I really appreciate that. Sea sponge, that is a great idea, David. David has the tips and tricks. I like it. Appreciate the support, the backups. That's a really good idea. Yeah, feel free to use whatever tools that you want to play with to get this. Again, this is like creative play. So it's funny because I enjoy doing this, but I don't consider myself like super creative. I feel like my brain gets very linear and I do get stuck on being like, oh, I'm painting, so I have to use paintbrushes. Like, I'm very weird like that. And it takes me a while to get out of that mentality, even though I, am creative in the sense that I like to make things, but I get very stuck on like the tools and like the way things are done. It's very weird. Anyways, that's weird, odd tidbit for me. Okay, so I want to have the same kind of vibe. I might even, what I'm going to do? I'm going to go over this with my brush. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, yeah, that's what I want. Probably anyone using the sea sponge is like, yeah, we got that already. We got that very fast. We already have that texture. I just did like a 3-part process. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I like mess it up a little bit. Yeah, messy, messy. Okay, yeah, I'm digging that. I feel like it's almost like a little bit of a line though that is like lighter and it kind of follows the same trajectory as again, I love acrylic because you can keep layering and then I feel like it always looks so much better as you keep layering. Okay, I keep touching this for way too long. Okay, I think I need to move on. As I keep touching it, I say I need to move on. Okay, similar process. I'm going to do it across the bottom, but this has a lot of this is further away, so there's a lot more like little detail-y. This one kind of sweeps down and they're a little bigger. So I'm going to play in the same way. So I want to have like a bit of a gray happening just to start putting in some And I feel like it kind of comes down like this. Like it has like a bit of a motion. And then here, there's like, oof. It's almost like ribbons. I don't know if that's the right way. Not really ribbons. Okay. Let's just keep going with this. Let's put a little dab of blue in here too. Similar to right on that side. Okay. And there's like a light ribbon in the back there. I feel like the ribbons are like tighter and thinner in the back, and then they kind of become larger, take up more space in the front. Okay, I need this back ribbon to be lighter. That is not light enough. Looks weird, but I think once we put some more texture in it, I think it's gonna come out nice. I like the coloring on it. I like the movement of it. Okay, cool. All right, let's mess it up. Oh, hey Joe, if you want my website, it's Liza's paintbrushes.com. That's my website. So just like the same as if you look at the here, it says Liza's Painting Parties, just put it all together, lisaspaintingparties.com. And that's my website. And you can get an idea of like pricing if you're looking to do an event or you check out some pictures and stuff. All the videos are on my Facebook though and on my YouTube. I don't have any of my painting videos on my website. That's more just if you're interested in like hosting a virtual party, or if you want me to host an in-person party, we can talk about that too, but I'm only in Toronto. I mean, if you want to fly me out to like, you know, somewhere amazing, I'm totally down for that. We can have a conversation about that. I mean, I don't know how my employer will feel, but yeah, if you're in Toronto area and you're interested in doing a paint party, I would love to do an in-person one. As things are starting to open up and get back to normal, we could totally do that. I was actually thinking, I don't know how it would work out, and I don't even know if you need to get like permits and stuff or how all that works, but I would really love to do something where we could do like an outdoor thing in like the summer where we could set like a date and a time, and then we could all meet in like a park and we could paint either something, like I could lead a session that way. That could be really fun. Just need enough Canadians to want to do that. Well, I should say Torontonians. I mean, Canada's huge. I think that'd be kind of neat. So I'm just trying to add a little bit of like that texture, but trying to keep it in that movement that I'm feeling here, which is kind of a weird movement, but It's kind of dark in this corner. I want to make it a little darker. Okay. Okay, I just want to start. Boop, boop. Make it a little bit lighter back here, which is what I wanted to do before. Okay. So I'm just getting white and then just like kind of doing the same thing I did over there and just different spots, just trying to keep it a bit wider and blotchier in some areas, just to feel gravelly like. Again, if anyone else has like a tip or something that they like to use for gravel, please feel free to share it. I know David mentioned like a sea sponge, which is a great idea. Okay, a little bit more black. Okay, I think I'm doing good over here. Ooh, a retreat. That would be fun. I'd be down for that. That'd be so fun. Painting retreat, and we'd all like hang out and just paint. Oh my goodness. That'd be wonderful. It's like, no, it needs to have like a little tinge of blue in here. I feel like it's not like light enough, but okay, let's go with my more detailed brush. We'll add some little spots and stuff on this side before we do our middle row. I don't know if I'm going to do the same, like put little spotty spots, but maybe a little bit. Okay. I don't know. I think I'm just going to leave it like that for now, and let's move on to this middle row. I did them in sections just because of the coloring. Like I wanted to try to do them in their own right. Okay, so right now let's just try to get paint on the canvas. And here it's like wider stroke. It's actually pretty dark at the bottom here. Okay, let's put in some little black lines. Make it a little bit darker. Okay. Let's grab the white and just like fill it out. And it will still give us our like lines as to where all of it's going to connect and have the very specific railings. And then we're going to put the bright red lights in there after. It's going to look so cool. Okay, so just trying to cover all the spots of the canvas right now. yeah, not too much. Like I'm not worried about the ones on the border of this because we'll put in the rails in there. Okay, so now let's do some more dots and splotches. Okay, more black needs to be. Okay, I definitely need some more black. So I'm just adding it kind of in like horizontal lines, but like dabbing it. So dabbing it and making the bottom longer, but still keeping like some spaces in between to try to have a bit of texture. And as you go further back, still doing these like kind of dabby horizontal motion, but it's going to get shorter, and that's going to give you that distance. Right, and the same thing on this side. We're just going to add a little bit of poke black on that side, like that, I think. Yeah. Do a little bit of here. I'm going to go into the distance. And then we'll just put a little bit of white. Okay, and then just add some lighter ones, also kind of in a okay. Still want a dotty and splotchy back there, but actually I feel pretty good about that for now. Okay. Dotty splotchies. Nice. Ooh, from Nova Scotia. Some of our close friends just bought a house in Nova Scotia. They're moving there at the end of the school year. Okay. So, what do I need next? I need a little bit more white on my palette because I've used it all up. I still have some black. Perfect. So I want to start putting in the rails, and then I want to put in those bright lights in the back. Where are we with time? 7:30. Wow, 7:32. Not too shabby. I definitely thought I was going to look at it and it was going to be ready like at 8:30 or something. I thought this was taking longer, so I'm kind of happy that it's a little faster than I thought, which is good. Okay, perfect. Like my happy place is doing like skies and water. So the dotty splotchies on this is like, yeah, that's probably why I felt like it took a long time. It's like, when is this part gonna stop? Let's get to the fun. Okay. Well, I don't know about the fun. Like we have to use a very even hand to put in some of these. So when we do this part, I'm going to use one of my fine point brushes. I am going to try and go thinner than what I want and then thicken it up as I go. What I think I'm going to start with, I want to do this first curve here. So I'm going to, and it's funny because it's not actually very black down here, but I'm going to start it and bring my line down my path. Okay, and it gets thicker as it comes closer. Oopa. Okay, so let's just bring this line. I just want to bring it out a little bit more. Oof. Oh my god. Okay, that brush. Okay, it's probably a user error. I recognize that, but I'm just going to blame the brush. So I'm just going to get rid of that line that I made by error and turn it into dotty splotchies. Okay, that's good enough. That's good. Okay, so we have that one nice, beautiful dark line. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna use white to get that line that goes right on top of it. And again, it's just gonna try to bring it down the first go. My paint is still quite wet too, so white isn't just coming up as easy as I want it to. Okay. It's not white, but I got a little too thick. Let me just fix that up with the black again. I like this line back here though. I don't really want to mess with it too much. I think I'll have to be patient for once and stop touching it while it's wet. And then come back and then add it and make it a little bit more, boom, brighter. The gravel's so tricky. I know. I feel weird about it too. I feel strange about the gravel. I feel you. I think once you, it's tricky. It is. I don't even know what to say to make it like sound better. I feel weird with my gravel too. It makes you feel better. The gravel is just not like my preferred thing at all. Okay, so where is this living? It's living like down here somewhere. I'm gonna do the same thing. Ooh. to curve that too fast. Okay. And again, same type of thing. This one's going to get nice and thick here. Because I'm using a thin brush, again, like the paint, I have to get paint all the time because it just goes away so fast. Doesn't hold very much paint at all. I need to get more paint. Okay, I think I'm going to go the other way. Just to connect it. Okay. I feel like it needs to be a little thicker here. And then it kind of comes out more like that. I think that's good. Okay. Okay. And with this one, it also has like a very bright line on top of it. Okay. I think that's alright. It seems to like curve weirdly. I'm going to try to make it a little straighter. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay. Cool. Now what's next? Okay. Perfect. So I'm just going to get a bit more, I want it to be a little lighter back here. So I'm just going to go over that. So it's very bright back here. Okay. And then that line back here too. So I just want to bring okay, and then we're going to bring this white line across somehow without messing it up. Just above the black. Nice and steady. I feel like the paint is kind of drying a little bit too, so it's very like thick. Okay. And then breathe. Okay. And hold your breath and then go. No. At least that's what I do. I tend to hold my breath when I'm doing all the thin lines. Okay. All right. It does need like a little bit of a touch up here, I suppose. But you know what? I'm gonna leave that, and then when it dries a bit, like just I'm gonna touch up down here. Like I want to do it now, but I shouldn't. I have to wait. Be patient. Be patient. Okay. And then we want to get the lines back here, which is pretty dark. And actually, it's pretty dark in there. And then there's going to be like nice little white lines that are going to make it pop. So back here, we also have that curve. Okay. Oh my gosh. Just making it thicker and thicker. No. Okay, so really, this is also pretty straight across the top because it kind of curves, but then it kind of just goes straight down too because it's a dark spot in there, and then it goes across the top here. It's all pretty dark. Oh, my foot's asleep. Probably should stop sitting down on the ground cross-legged when I'm painting. I feel like if I just keep doing this, then I'll always be like flexible. But I think my body's starting to be like, no, you turned 40 this year. You need to stop thinking you're 20. Ooh, pins and needles. Okay. 5-point brush has great tips. Is that like the number 5 brush? That's like a fine tip brush? Is that what you mean? Or is there like a brush that's called like a 5-point brush? Okay, I'm gonna let that dry because I want to put in those elements, but I do need that to actually be fully dry before I try to play with that. Now, under this white line, there is like a little dark, a little line shadow. That looks good. And then there's another one to show that guy. They're separate. Oof. And I'm going to put a little, kind of like lines. Very light. And they'll come a bit further as I go down. Maybe it's thicker-ish. Just to give that illusion, make it feel like it's curving, going from near to far. Okay, and I'm just going to do another thing with the black. I'm just going to go around the top as well, just to make it stand out a little bit. How's that? Just make it stand out just a smidgen. And like the same thing on this side with the little lines. to touch it slightly. I feel like I messed up that one a bit, but that's okay. The one at the bottom is actually kind of weird, now that I think about it. Let's see. That's fine. Okay, so dun, 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 dun. Okay, way back in our vanishing point. Actually, I don't know if I want to wait. Yeah, you know what? I think it's good. I'm gonna do the white on top of that one area. The one that I kept touching and touching and touching and touching. Then I'll actually do it. Ha! I touched it a little bit too much. Okay, that's okay. I'll just... Because that line went not where I wanted it to go. So I'm just going to bring it a little bit and try and hide my mistake a bit, even though it's, I think, incredibly noticeable. Should be okay like that though. Okay. And I just want to do up here too. Nice. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, so now, what else? Let's see. We still need to do those lines there. We need to get our lights in as well. Okay, so that has it's not even like a very thick white line. It's very thin, and it's almost like it's a little bit light on this side. So there's a slight like line that kind of goes like this and then disappears-ish. Okay, and then it's like a gray line that you kind of see slightly as it continues its journey back. Okay, and then it gets a little brighter back here again. So what do we got? It kind of goes, and then it kind of comes like that. So it's just slightly. And I think I don't know, this thin brush is not cutting it for me right now. Let me see if this other one works. I have like another one that's slightly thinner. Sometimes it has a bit more control. Sometimes. Okay, I think that's all right for now. We've got a cool angle going on. All right, and then we want to get our lights back here. Oh, don't go away. We still need you. Okay, so I'm going to, I think I want to start with like white to decide where I want my lights to live. So kind of like there, and they're here ish, right? Okay, and then I'm going to get a little bit of yellow, and then I'm going to do like 3 kind of circles on that white line that I just did. This one I'll just do like 2. It's kind of hidden and it's further away. And then I'm going to get my red, but I want it a little lighter. I'm going to mix it with a little bit of yellow just to make it a little lighter, but I don't want it to be pink. So I'm not mixing it with my white. So, and then I'm just going to go around the yellow with my red, and then I'm just going to start to kind of blendy and then make it a little messy. Oh, that's put white. That's not what I wanted. And then just make it a little, no, it's not working. Sorry, just go around again, just trying to get that color. Okay. I feel like it's slightly different because I put a little bit of white on the other one, so I'm just going to put a little bit of white on this one just to make them a little bit more matchy. Okay, and I'm just going to put more yellow. It looks like there's almost like a happening back there. And beside here is actually much darker. So I'm just going to make this a little darker and like hide this light behind this like new dark shrub that I just created. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I think I might be done. There's a few other things like that we could always add and just like touch up. So I could play a bit more with the gravel, but like I said, I'm not a fan of gravel in general. I like other things. I think I'm good with it and I'm happy with the way it is. I could always play a little bit more with the trees if you want to add a little more detail or just have a little bit of leaves kind of poking out, making them come out a bit brighter. I think I'm okay with the track as well. It's a little bit more splay than I had wanted, but I'm not going to touch it anymore. I think I'm good with that. So yeah, so there we go. So how are all of your paintings coming along? I'm just going to move it here for a moment. You can see everyone. Well, I guess I can't really see anyone. So you can see me, actually, I guess is what I'm doing. So yeah, so that is pretty much it for this week's painting party. So I hope you all had a really great time. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, this was a photo courtesy of Michael Lyons. So thank you so much to Michael Lyons for always allowing me to paint from his beautiful photographs. And thank you all for joining me tonight. You can follow me again on the Facebook page, Liza's Painting Parties. Like I said, there's a giveaway. So if you take a look on my page, there is a post. So go to that post. You can share with your friends. You can like, you can comment, you can mention one of your friends on it, and you'll have a chance to win a free virtual painting party hosted by me for you and 10 friends. So definitely do that. The contest is going for this month. This month is my celebration month. So we've been doing this for 2 years. As of today, yay! So thanks so much for celebrating with me tonight. And my 100th paint party is at the end of the month. So definitely keep your eye out tuned for that. My April calendar will be up this weekend. So take a look and see which paint parties you'd like to join. They're all free. That's about it. So thank you so much for your participation. And I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, depending where you're tuning in from. And I'll talk to you all soon. Take care, everyone. Have a great week, paint partiers.